Lucky we are in our school system here in Lawrence County that we know deep in our hearts, and y'all sleep at night, that your kids are safe when they come with us. Thank you. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please call roll.
Caruso.
Here.
Daniel.
Here.
Dryden. Hartsfield.
Here.
Jacobs.
Here.
Mabry.
Here.
Noddert.
Here.
Rochelle. Weathers.
Here.
7 present, 2 absent.
Thank you. I believe we have a quorum. First on the agenda tonight is a recognition of students, and our first one is from LPS, and I believe Miss Kim is here for that.
First, let me say, Miss Pam, our principal, would have liked to have been here. Unfortunately, her father-in-law passed away, so the funeral was today. She just wanted me to let everyone know that she would have loved to have been here to help recognize Kinley. When we were asked to recognize a student from Lawrenceburg Public, several students came to mind. As we talked more about the one student we would like to recognize, we were able to come to an agreement that Kinley McDonald would be our best candidate. So let me tell you a little bit about this outstanding 5th grade student. Integrity is the first word that comes to mind when I think about Kinley. The characteristics of integrity include honesty, responsibility, respect, accountability, and hard work. Kinley exemplifies all of these qualities, not only in her interactions with others, but also in her academic work as well. The concept of having integrity is really quite simple. Living with integrity means you uphold your values no matter the situation or who is watching. Kinley leads by example. She was an LPS cheerleader. She's a 2 million word reader. And last year, Kinley joined the Beta Club. She competed in several competitions, and this past fall at state, she placed first in 5th grade science, and she'll be competing at the national level this summer. She's maintained a 98.5 grade level average during her 5th grade year, and she applies integrity values to all academic pursuits, even in the face of challenges. Kinley strives for excellence in everything she does, and she's an example to her fellow students. C.S. Lewis said, "Integrity is doing the right thing even when no one is watching." I think he was talking about Kinley. She is a friend to all, a leader, an encourager, the very best teacher helper, and all-around great young lady. It's my honor to recognize Miss Kinley McDonald.
Our next student recognition tonight is from New Prospect in Mahala.
Good evening, and thank you for allowing me, a moment, to recognize some special students at New Prospect Elementary School. We chose to recognize a group of students rather than a single student. So a little background, in August 2019, a group of students from grades 3rd through 8th was formed by teachers Lindsay Jones and Heather Freeman to perform in the annual Lawrence County Sings production in May of 2020. These students practiced weekly from January until March, and then, of course, COVID prevented the students from continuing. A couple years later, when restrictions were lifted and arrangements were able to be made in 2023, Lawrence County Sings was able to take place at David Crockett Elementary. This was a big deal for New Prospect, considering it as it has been many years since we've had a music program such as choir at our school. The New Prospect Tiger Choir consists of 4th through 8th grade students who have a dedication and interest in music. Members of the Tiger Choir include, let's see, I'm trying to look. Okay, so 4th graders are Alexandria Daughtry and Olivia Stojak. Olivia is here. 5th graders are Emma Gallagher and Avery Wallace. 6th graders Regan Jones and Scarlett Jones. Amaya Prince, Lily Archer, Ace Daughtry, Aniston Hurston, Jordan Clayton, Jacob Smith, Allie Clayton, Ellie Turner, Kaya White, and Jolene Kilburn. Our 7th graders are Aiden Luna and Daisy Prince, and the 8th grader Emily Copley. We also had science fair tonight, so they chose. But the New Prospect Tiger Choir is continuing to practice after school in order to prepare for their performance at our Arts Festival on May 11th. The members of the choir have also expressed interest in performing during the school day in front of the faculty, staff, and student body at various times throughout the coming school year. We appreciate the effort of these students to be difference makers at New Prospect School. Please join me in giving a round of applause to the members of our Tiger Choir.
I'm going to try to get a shot of y'all where you are. And I'm going to squeeze in just a little stage. All right, that's good. Right there. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Good job, girls and guys. Next on the recognition tonight is Energy Star certification for Etheridge and Ingram South. Mr. Josh.
I want to say thank you to the board for allowing me to present tonight. Here tonight to recognize a couple of our schools for their efforts in increasing energy awareness in their schools as well as their respective communities. This was accomplished through participation in TVA's School Uplift Program, also referred to as SEM, S-E-M, Strategic Energy Management. The schools built an energy team that consisted of staff and students to go through a year-long process to improve the energy footprint as well as bring awareness to the students and community about energy conservation. After the team was built, the following process took place. Number one, a team charter was developed by the SEM team. Number two, energy assessment was performed by a TVA engineer. Number three, as a result of the findings from that engineer, an opportunities register was developed. Number four, the energy goals were developed by the SEM team at the schools based on the items listed on the opportunities register. Number five, webinars have been attended by the Energy Champion, the sponsor, and Data Champion. Number six, monthly coaching calls with the energy coach from TVA. And 7 monthly SEM team meetings at the schools with the team. Through this process, students in the schools have participated in activities dealing with energy conservation through science fairs, presentations by outside speakers from TVA and Lawrenceburg Utilities, poster contests, demonstrations by LUS, and et cetera. There were a lot of activities that went on. One particular that I would like to mention, because TVA has been a big fan of this one. Ingram Sal this year decided to do, I think it was for the month of January, decided to do what they call Flashlight Fridays. And what they would do was the last 10, 15 minutes of the day on Friday, they would turn out all the lights. And the students all had flashlights, and they would read using those flashlights. And that gave the teachers an opportunity, with it being a Friday and they have to shut down their energy using items more so on Friday than any other day for the weekend, that gave the teachers were to then go through and shut down their rooms for the weekend while the kids read using their flashlights. And so they liked it so much they kept doing it for, Olive, was it the rest of the year? Y'all still doing it? For the rest of the year. So that's just one of the things that the team came up with and decided to do. The schools engage with their respective communities through social media posts and school family nights. The Energy Champion and Data Champion entered monthly utility data into our Energy Star Portfolio Manager account, where an Energy Star score is calculated. In order to gain Energy Star certification, a school score has to be 75 or higher to even be considered for Energy Star certification. To date, we have had 3 schools to go through the SIM process. Etheridge participated in 2021-22 in that cohort, while Ingram, Sal, and David Crockett have been participating this school year. This time, I would like to recognize the teams from these 2 schools. From Etheridge, our energy sponsor is the principal, Christy Cruz. Come on up. Energy champion is myself, Josh Jones. The data champion is Lee Boyd from LUS. The facility champion was our maintenance guy, Russ Shirk, and he moved last summer to Florida, I believe, so he's not here, but he did an excellent job. Engagement and empowerment champion, Alicia James. She's the librarian at the school, and she saw all the kids, of course, coming through library, and so she was in charge of a lot of the activities that the kids did an excellent job. The team scribe was Christy Cruz, because she had the best handwriting. Our training champions were Christy Cruz, Alicia James, and Russ Shirk. I'm not sure what order to go in, but we'll do it like this. At this time, with them standing up here, I want to introduce, first of all, Lee from Lawrenceburg Utilities is their Director of Communications. He's the one that actually approached us last year to see if we wanted to go through this process with Etheridge, and we decided to. And then we also have here tonight Clay Hoover, and he is the Senior Program Manager with Energy Right at TVA, and he developed this Uplift program. So we're glad to have you with us, and I think we're going to present, we have some presentations right now for Etheridge. So what this is, Etheridge, with a score of 90 on their portfolio manager, is officially Energy Star certified now. Now I want to recognize the team from Ingram South. And again, they are finishing up the process this year. So the energy sponsor is Tracy Marks, the principal of the school. I'm the energy champion with this team as well, the data champion, Lee Boyd. The facility champion is their maintenance person, Scott Davis. Engagement and empowerment champion is Lori Egley. She's here tonight. And much like Miss James, she sees all the kids, I believe, with her class, so she's able to do a lot of the student activities with them. Training champion was Miss Marks, Miss Egley, and Scott Davis. And then we have students here tonight that were on the team. Olive Taylor, come on up, Olive. And Gabe Ingram. Is Gabe here? He didn't make it. I want to tell you, Mr. Boyd and I always say about Olive, we're going to end up working for her one day. She is sharp, and it was a pleasure to get to be on the team with you, Olive. And she is so engaged, and I guess you'll go to Kaufman next year. Kaufman's lucky you're getting her. She's wonderful. And Gabe was as well. Gabe was just very pleasant. It's my pleasure to recognize also tonight Ingram South Elementary. They are officially Energy Star certified. So congratulations. And I mentioned David Crockett went through the process this year too. They are super close to getting that score they need, and we're very confident they'll get it. And they've done a wonderful job this year as well through that. Now I think Mr. Boyd has a presentation.
I don't have any notes. I'm a communication director. I talk all the time, so if I do notes, I'll just read them. So first of all, thank you all for letting me be here today. At LUS, it's our wish that every student that comes through the doors of the Lawrence County School Systems is a ratepayer one day. You're our biggest key account, in my opinion. Okay, you've got thousands and thousands of people that come through your doors, and you're the most influential people that they see most of the time. And so we want to make sure that we support you in any way that we can. In saying that, our partnership with you is what makes it great for us, because we get to give back to where we come from. And most everyone that works for LUS came through the school system. Probably had many of you in here that are a little older than me. And so we really, really appreciate everything you guys do, and we appreciate all the kids and the teachers and faculty and staff. But I want to speak a little bit this afternoon, just for a second, over why energy conservation is so important and why you've got something that nobody else has. In today's world, money's tight for everybody, and making sure that students and faculty have what they need to teach it's money drives that, and you guys know that. So if you can find ways to save that money through conservation, you do it. I know Josh was implemented years ago as an energy conservationist, or czar as we called him when he first come in, because he had to do the job that no one wanted to do, which is to teach conservation practices. Josh has done such an excellent job that your school system is the gold standard for all of the state of Tennessee, and I would say the Tennessee Valley. You guys get a strong look from other districts because of Josh's efforts and your efforts. It's not done by him, and he'll be the first to tell you that. He's very humble. But your efforts collaboratively to do that is why you are the gold standard. So I can't speak enough. When I'm in cohort groups or if I'm in meetings And we start talking about, the amount that we could save and the amount that a school system could save, and they're talking about 28, 35, 40% energy reduction cost. And then they look at me and I'm like, maybe 3, maybe 2. All these things are in place. We have some low-hanging fruit that we can touch. But you guys have done an excellent job. I can compliment the board for having that agenda and making sure that is done. For me, that's just a compliment to Josh. But in saying that, he's done an excellent job of incorporating the faculty and the staff and the students and having that partnership with me. And tonight, it's my privilege to get to give Josh the Energy Champion recognition, which is not easy to get on behalf of TVA, Clay Hoover, and LUS. We're very, very, very pleased to give Josh that recognition, and so I would like to give him a round of applause, and if Clay will come back up here, we'll present that to him.
Thank you, Josh. Keep up the great work. Thank you. And I always like to thank Mr. Boyd for coming. He's a very outstanding in the community, and I appreciate you, and you're always welcome back. So thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Moving on to the next agenda is consent items. Do I have a motion from A through E?
Motion to approve A through E.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries by voice vote. Moving on to item number 2, report items. And we have schools reports. First up is Ms. Kim for Lawrenceburg Public.
This has been a great year, an exciting year at Lawrenceburg Public School. We've continued the tutoring program to help more students be successful academically. LPS has 4 10 core tutors and 1 retired teacher working within the tutoring program. During the fall, our students competed in cross country for the 2nd year. We had many students that were successful, placing in the top runners, and many beat their personal best times. Our beta students competed in Nashville for state and brought home 23 awards, tying the most ever for LPS. We had 7 first place awards, and our students will compete in nationals this summer in Louisville, Kentucky. We're very excited about that. In December, our students put on a wonderful Christmas play at the old Crockett Theater. The students and faculty did an amazing job. After Christmas break, we got right into basketball games in our county tournaments. Our students really enjoyed that. We were very proud of how well they did. Our Lego League robotics teams competed in the county, and 2 of our teams advanced to the state, and they competed at Tennessee Tech in February. And then it was on to 2 indoor soccer tournaments, and our students have really enjoyed the indoor soccer. So excited that that's taken part now in our county. We've hosted several family engagement informational nights. Our topics have been accelerated reading, the new 3rd grade retention law, TCAP, and just various topics to help students, to help our parents, help our students be more successful academically and social emotionally. Global Play Day is becoming one of our favorites at LPS. It's celebrated in February. Students brought toys and board games from home. This day was a complete technology-free day. No technology was turned on that day. And it was one of the best days at LPS that we've had in a while. It was really awesome to see the kids interact. Some improvements to LPS this year. We've installed some new playground equipment at our outdoor classroom. We added an additional sign in the front of the school. It's digital, helps us keep our parents updated. Our front parking lot was repaved. The bathroom remodel on the upper grade hall, and it looks amazing. And our hallways were also painted before the school year started. Today, we finished TCAP testing. Everyone has worked really hard. We're excited to get the scores back so we can celebrate our students in the areas that they did well and make a plan to work in the areas that we need to improve for next year. We're resuming our Arts Festival this year. Some of you may have visited that in the past. COVID kind of put a stop to that, but May 12th, it will be back, and our theme is Art Through Music. Our students have been working hard getting ready for that. It's been a great year at LPS, and we look forward to finishing out the year strong and starting summer school at the end of May. Thank you.
There might be questions for Ms. Martin. Thank you. Please give our condolences to Pam with you for, please. Thank you. Moving on to other school report is News Prospect and Mahala up again.
Hello. Okay, it's my first time doing this, so here we go. So we provide lots of opportunities at New Prospect School for students to become productive citizens and excel both academically and socially as they gain needed leadership skills to become successful. This year, we have been very fortunate to receive funds from the federal government that has allowed us to be able to provide additional student supports to fill academic gaps through 10 All-Corp. Through All-Corp's tutoring, we have serviced 87 students targeting deficiencies in reading or math. 58 students received tutoring in reading. Of those, 63% showed significant gains from fall to winter testing. We're really hopeful for our spring testing. 55% of our tutoring students show gains in math. We have recently completed TCAP testing and hope that this year's student growth is reflected in these scores. In being proactive, positions made available through ESSER dollars have allowed us the opportunity to place those individuals in positions to make the most difference for our students. Extra support was placed in second grade to make every effort to close gaps in second grade before entering third grade, as the new law places an emphasis on reading at or above grade level in order to be promoted to the fourth grade. Fall Ames Web reading data indicated that 14 of 37 students scored below grade level expectations entering second grade. Winter data reflects only 8 out of 37 students are lacking grade level expectations. We feel that adequate utilization of ESSER funds provided our students the opportunities needed to optimize their learning experience at New Prospect School. Not only do we focus on academic success of our students, but also building our students into future leaders. We have opportunities at NPS for students to participate in many extracurricular activities. We offer boys and girls basketball, cheerleading, volleyball. Students who wish to play softball or baseball can co-op with Etheridge, and those wishing to play football or soccer are allowed to participate with E.O. Kaufman. In addition to athletic opportunities, we also have Beta Club, personal favorite, Student Council, and Explore to Soar program.
You did well.
I'm a little bit of a speed talker, so.
That's good. Any questions for Ms. Major? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Moving on to item B, personnel report. You'll find that in your email the other day. Is there any questions regarding personnel report? Very well. Moving on to C is director's update.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Summer school underway. The preparation for it's underway. It's been underway. Mrs. Ridgway and Mr. Rogers and Mrs. Simpson and other members of the central office staff have been working on that since January, trying to get that ready. That will be May 30th through June 22nd. And we've made some adjustments to our plan for that, but it will be another successful summer school in Lawrence County. Teacher Appreciation Month is May. We will be celebrating that in Tennessee, May 8th through the 12th. You may have heard about our Skills USA performance at state competition. It was an outstanding performance. We believe we may have set some records, state records there. I will be asking Mrs. Watson to present to the board next month some of those students, some of those awards, and possibly have a few of the teachers here for us to recognize them as well. As we developed our Dean of Students program a couple of years ago, we're to the point now where we will be moving some of those deans into assistant principal roles in the coming school year, and look to add more deans at our schools to begin that pipeline of administrators from within Lawrence County schools leading our schools in the future. As you know, that program prepares those who desire to be an administrator, either assistant principal, and that exposes them to the hours, the work, the stress, the demands of administrators, rather than just taking them one day from one area and placing them in another. This is a preparation program that we find very beneficial and helpful to those who desire to be administrators. Third grade retention law continues to be a topic. I think the legislature has finalized that now. What we predicted would happen or expected to happen did. We've been preparing for this since the fall. Feel like Lawrence County is well ahead of other counties. We're not playing catch up, trying to inform our parents and our community. We've made it very clear from the beginning what we thought was going to happen, and we're at that point now. Mrs. Ridgway has spent a lot of time preparing that as well. TISA funding, we believe we've got a good idea of what the TISA dollars will be for Lawrence County for the 23-24 school year. I've released some of that information in the weekly update to the board, but we will continue to work that as we learn more as information comes down from the state. We've also got our first candidates for UT Southern's Grow Your Own program. Mrs. Thompson has put in a lot of work working with local educators, educational assistants, that is, who are interested in that program, working with UT Southern, a lot of paperwork. And so we have our first class of UT Southern's Grow Your Own, and I'll name those for us: Lindsay Bishop, Josh Burleson, Kara Robertson, Jessica Kimbrell, Elizabeth Ayers, Heather Henson, Emily Lopp. So we have a number of folks who are admitting into UT Southern's Grow Your Own program. For the budget planning, Mrs. Elledge and I have asked for a meeting on May 9th at 5 o'clock to review the proposed budget with the board, to share information with the board. If you can make that, please let me know. May 9th at 5 o'clock as we will go through our budget proposal to the board. And once again, I just want to say to our educators, as we work through probably one of the toughest periods of time in the school year, and that's when TCAP testing begins. And it puts a lot of stress on our folks, puts a lot of stress on our students and community, especially with some of the new laws. But as I'm out in the schools and I see this, our folks continue to greet kids with a smile. They continue to treat them the way they'd want their children treated, and they take good care of our folks. And we are blessed beyond measure the great work that takes place in Lawrence County for our kids by our educators. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Are there any questions
I
for
got a
Michael?
question. Mr. Atkins, on that, the dean, or the training of the deans, to be maybe assistant principal sometime in the future.
Yes, sir.
What about a person that's might have already been a principal or assistant principal? Do they have to go through that program to be appointed to those positions now?
We look at those folks if they're interested in that, but it's not a guarantee that they will get an assistant principal role. Many of them have decided to go back in and go through the dean to get their name back into the mix for consideration.
So they have to go through that here?
They have been. Many of them have applied to go through that.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
question. Mr. Atkins, on the summer school programs, do we have the numbers, or can you get the numbers of what percentage? I'm curious as to when 2020, when COVID hit, what percentage of students do we have enrolled in summer school? Has that grown? Have we been able to recover from 2020, and just what percentage of our student body has to attend summer school?
I can get that information and send you because some of it's unfolding even now, and some of it will continue to unfold post-testing.
Yeah, I'd just
as
like
well.
to keep, and I'd like to watch it over the next several years, if you would.
Yeah, I'll send that to you, send it to the board as well.
Any further questions? Thank you. Moving on to executive committees. Me and Michael had approved 1 through 7 there. If you have any questions, we have a Lawrence County High School bid for a wheelchair. We have a Lawrence County, Loretta High School color guard overnight, and we have a youth and government overnight program. Once again, Loretta has a Skills USA competition overnight. And an additional SPED bus attendant that we had to appoint for the remainder of the year. And the last one, Loretta had a building and trades facility refurbished for materials. So any questions on any of those? Do we have to go into more detail of that? Very well. Moving on to E, LCEA.
Good evening. We just wanted to bring up the fact that our MOU will be coming up this next school year, and we'll be going through the process again. That we're proud that the board has always worked with us and that we've always come out with a signed MOU. And we look forward to the process this following year. Thank you.
Have any questions regarding? Very well. Moving on to F. Brenda, do you have anything on Tennessee legislation?
The only thing, the legislature has looked at some amendments to the third grade retention for next year, giving other opportunities to bring the kids up to speed. And they say they'll probably be working on it more and be more added to it.
Thank you, Brenda. Any questions regarding Tennessee legislature? Moving on to budget items, we have budget for consideration. First one is Leoma parking lot repaving bid, and as you see, that is on the screen in front of you. Mr. Atkins.
Mr. Chairman, this is a continuation of our phase projects that we have put together, our Phase 1, Phase 2, and looking at Phase 3 projects where we have used various dollars for capital improvements throughout our schools. As I've said before, every school in Lawrence County has received upgrades, facility upgrades. On our parking lots, we have moved from what we assessed as, I guess, in the most need to those that now we're getting into that have needs, and then we'll be getting into those that we're hoping to preserve those parking lots down the road. So that's what these two are, but they are from projects and dollars that we have set aside. Unfortunately, some of those prices go up when fuel costs go up, and so we have had to make some adjustments, but Mrs. Elledge and I are confident that the dollars are there for those projects.
Can I get a motion to approve Leoma's parking lot
Move
bid?
to approve.
Second. We have a motion to approve and a second. Please call roll.
Caruso.
Aye.
Daniel.
Yes.
Hartsfield.
Yes.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Mabry.
Aye.
Noddert.
Aye.
Weathers.
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion passed for the low bid for the Leoma parking lot. Moving on again, Etheridge parking lot repaving.
And Mr. Chairman, it would be a similar statement.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Please call roll.
Weathers.
Yes.
Noddert.
Yes.
Mabry.
Aye.
Jacobs.
Yes.
Hartsfield.
Yes.
Daniel.
Yes.
Caruso.
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion carries to accept low bid for Etheridge. Moving on to item 4, personnel items. A is Innovative School Model 3 Career Coach Position. Mr. Atkins.
Mr. Chairman, these are through the Innovative School dollars that each county, each high school received in Lawrence County, and Mrs. Watson has put that together for us. She has submitted our application to Tennessee Department of Education, and it's been approved, and we're just moving forward with placing these career coaches in our high schools. And the career coach at each high school will aid in guiding students into CTE courses that allow for industry credentials while in high school. The EPSO game plan created during the 8th grade year, college and career counselors, student, parent, career coach meetings. There's a number of things that these folks will be working on to assist our students to help guide them in their career paths along the way.
Can I get a motion to approve both the career coach and the digital design position?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a second, we have a motion to approve and a second. Are there any questions regarding these two positions?
Yes, Chairman.
Go ahead, John.
So the budget, the pay for these are coming from federal federal funding?
Yes, and Mrs. Watson would like to talk about the span of that and how that will look.
Yeah.
It's the state innovative dollars. So it's actually state money, but it looks as if it is federal, but it's state. It is state. The first year is 100% of the salary, 75, 50, and so on, for 4 years.
For 4, so 100% this year, 75, so we pick up the other 25% next year,
Correct.
50%.
Well, it will start 100% this fall.
Right.
Right.
Okay. And these are, can you give the synopsis again of what these positions are, these personnel are going to be doing?
I'll let Mrs. Watson kind of speak to that a little bit.
So these career coaches are going to start working with students for they're going to focus on 9th and 10th graders. We can catch them early, target their passions, target their interests, and make sure we've got them guided into the right CTE path. Those people will then pass those kids on over to the AIRS counselors when they're in their upper grades. So it's just catching them early, making sure we get them in the classes that they're truly interested in and the paths, and hopefully guiding them towards some post-secondary enrollment in the areas that they're truly interested in.
So let me ask you this question, what's the position of the guidance counselors in the high schools today?
They are doing testing, mental health, they don't have time to deal with one-on-one. These people are going to have one-on-one conversations with these kids multiple times, and it's hard for our counselors to have time to do so.
It'll be in each 3 high schools, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I think one thing, Mr. Daniel, with the state offering these dollars, I think they're wanting more people who are familiar with the CTE pathways in that area to go out and help those students. School counselors a lot of times are more on the academic side, so you get a little bit of blend of both, that we're meeting the needs of all students across the board who might want to be pushed more to TCAT. These are people that can do that as well. So those kids who are traditional college, we have that answered. We have the TCAT answered as well.
Any further questions? Go ahead, Nikki.
3, is that each high school, 3 in each high school?
One
Or
per
one
high school.
Okay.
One per high school.
Any further questions?
I've got a question.
Go ahead, Royce.
What are their certifications for?
They must be a certified teacher, because these career coaches will be work-based learning certified. So they will actually help in increasing our numbers of students that are doing workplace. Sorry, y'all. I have a back problem, and I just started some steroids yesterday, and I'm like this. But anyway, these career coaches will be able to allow us to have more kids in work-based learning. With Industry 4.0 diploma distinction that is now a thing, they will have to meet with these career coaches multiple times.
So they're
once a
certified in
month.
the CTE area?
Yes, sir. Well, I mean,
Or an academic
or an
area.
academic area. But if it is academic, they have to go back and get their work-based learning
Gotcha.
certification.
Very well. Please call roll.
Caruso,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Hartsfield,
Yes.
Jacobs,
Yes.
Mabry, Nidert,
Yes.
Weathers,
Yes.
7 yes.
A motion carries to hire these positions. Moving on to 5 food items for consideration, and we have the bid awards for school year 23-24. Kinlan, you have
This is a rebid of some beef items that I brought to you in the April meeting. I told you that we had to rebid some of those items. So this is the award. It's the responsive bidder that met all the bid specifications that was the lowest in the bid.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Yes.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions regarding these food item bids? Please call roll.
Weathers,
Yes.
Nodder,
Yes.
Mabry, Jacobs,
Yes.
Hartsfield,
Yes.
Daniel,
Yes.
Caruso,
Aye.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
I've got a question. The problem with the leak and the machine that malfunctioned at Summertown, is it repaired?
Yes, sir.
Who ended up paying for it?
We turned it in on insurance.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
But it is corrected and everything is working great?
To my knowledge, now they came down and worked on it maybe a month ago. I'll follow up with the manager tomorrow to make sure that there's no
Okay.
continuing issues.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Chairman,
Go ahead, John.
while we're on that topic, Mr. Atkins, the issue with the E.O. Kaufman kitchen floor, have we found resolution for it?
We have been in touch with Greer Lashley. They're sending someone down, and he's sent me an email that they will cover the cost of the repair work.
Thank you.
Just a side note, if any of y'all have not gotten a chance to view Kaufman, what an outstanding job. The room is now manageable. The cafeteria is they got room now, so if you got a chance just to walk through it, and it was well taken was it last night? I guess
Last
last
Tuesday.
night. Last Tuesday. So they did a good job, very good job. Moving on to item 6, curriculum, we have math adoption.
Mr. Chairman, we have Dr. Glass here as well to answer any questions you may have. But throughout this year, teachers, elementary, middle, and high school have worked together to come up with textbooks, online materials, resources, manipulatives for our students. And we're at the point now where you can see in the information there where we've had votes taken, committees selected. We're to the point where we will need to adopt a text, and that has to be a formal process at the board meeting. And then we will be looking at purchasing items that we can get in hands of our teachers by the start of school. So Dr. Glass is here to answer any questions on the process, and Mrs. Ridgway might be able to assist us if you have any other questions regarding the use of federal funds and how that will play out.
I just wanted to share with you just briefly the process so that when questions come your way, you will know what processes we follow. The TDOE has pretty strict requirements for adoption of textbooks. Ms. Gina Burns takes care of that and does a wonderful job. She was just unable to be here tonight, but she and I tag team on that. I try to handle the academic piece in that, and she handles all the processes and crossing all the T's and dotting the I's for the actual adoption. But we are required to have a committee. Our adoption committee consisted of at least a minimum of one teacher from every school and one teacher from every grade level. Those committee members had the task of talking to their school folks, there's teachers that teach math in their schools, as well as across the district in their grade level that they taught. We also had a regional convening team that consisted of 5 team members. The state provided three trainings, and with that, on that team, we could have 2 administrators, 2 teachers, and 1 district folk, and we attended 3 regional trainings just to get a little bit more information from the state about the changes in the standards and the curriculum that was being brought down. TDOE approved a list of approximately 16. There may be some more now because vendors could go back even after they were denied and make corrections and get added to the list. So I didn't go back and look at the number that's on there now, but around 16 vendors made it through the gate of TDOE. To do that, they had to meet the definition that TDOE set for a high quality instructional material. In math this year, and this is the first year that this has been a stipulation since I've been involved, the vendor had to meet 100% of Tennessee standards. As you know, we're not a very large state, and there's not a lot of publishers, actually, zero in our state, that we did have, I'll take that back, we did have one that was presented that was created in the state of Tennessee, so I need to quit saying that, but that's the first that's happened. So each of the vendors have to address their curriculum to make it meet our standards. So getting through that gate, they had to have 100% alignment to our Tennessee state standards for college and career readiness. They had to incorporate high expectations for student learning and support the research-based effective pedagogy that Tennessee set before them. I took that list and organized it by grade bands and then added Ed Reports information to it. Ed Reports is a private vendor company who comes in and evaluates curriculum material. So they're not associated with the state of Tennessee. They're not associated with any of these vendors. And I just added that information just to provide a little additional support for our teachers as they made that decision. Ms. Gina Burns met with the committee, and she outlined the processes of reviewing, how we would review online and how we could request paper copies of the material. She laid out the expectations for the committee and the adoption process. January 4th, our in-service, we provided an opportunity for our math teachers to come together. They had an opportunity to visit some of the vendors, ask questions to some of the vendors, and they had a chance to review the materials together with their grade bands. Then in March, we created a teacher survey, again giving them an opportunity for every teacher to have a voice in what curriculum they thought best met their needs. From that, we chose the top 3 choices, the top 3 vendors. In the March 20th PLC, teachers again were invited to join a Zoom with those top 3 vendors so they could kind of hear again a brief overview from the vendor, but it gave them an opportunity to ask questions. After they watched that Zoom, then they were allowed again to vote. So every teacher had the opportunity to vote for the curriculum. The results with high school was 100% for McGraw-Hill's Tennessee Reveal Math. For K-8, Houghton Mifflin Hartport was the one that received the most votes. It's called Into Math. And then the Math Adoption Committee met the next day. They voted to listen to the voice of the teachers and go with what the teachers had chosen. The majority of the teachers had selected. So they put their stamp of approval on it on March the 21st. Long process, but it is an important decision. Do you have any questions?
So as you scroll here, I'm seeing a lot of numbers dollar-wise. What is the final dollar amount?
Do you have that in front of you, Mr.
I do. Mr. Chairman, it is $1.2 million to do the textbooks and materials, and that's over a 6-year period, and 2 of those years will involve funding from ESSER. When we initially began this process, we were funding all of this out of ESSER, as had been the case with ELA. The federal government came back and said you cannot purchase all of it for multiple years in advance. You can only spend it in the year that ESSER is available. ESSER will run out 2024, I believe. I have an email to send to our U.S. senators and representatives asking for an extension year, as a number of directors have done because of supply chain issues that we hope will happen. If that happens, we'll have 3 of the 6 years paid by ESSER funds, and then we will be on a annual payment plan to pay this off through the budget process.
I should have included, so you would know, that is everything the teacher should need. That is the teacher paper copies and the electronic platform access. It also provides the same for the student. They'll have the paper access and then access through their Chromebooks. There is a platform for both the high school and the elementary program that is like an adaptive that teachers can use for intervention. That's providing all of it in the elementary school. It even comes with manipulatives. Like if I'm teaching time, I might have a big clock and all my kids have little clocks. It comes with the manipulatives needed. It's the quote to do everything that we should need to do with math in core instruction for 6 years.
And the teachers will not have to run off for each student like we have in the past, correct?
No, sir, they should not have to run off anything unless they have something supplemental that they want to use with it.
So the state has updated the standards or changed their standards?
Yes, sir. New standards roll out next year.
And that's what has forced this change for
Yes, sir.
curriculum, because our current curriculum does
Will
not
not meet them.
teach and not meet the standards.
Yes, sir.
And then, so we do this for 6 years, and then is it anticipated that state changes standards every 6 years?
Typically, yes, sir. And they up the rigor. Historically, yes.
Do I have a motion to adopt math adoption?
Motion to adopt.
We have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any further questions for Dr. Glass? Or Mr. Atkins?
One of the things Ms. Katie said, there is a rotation with the State Department for adoption. So we're on a rotating schedule. 2 years ago, we adopted ELA. We should be adopting science next year, but they've already backed that up a year. So next year, they'll do their thing that they have to do with their standards and getting it to vendor. And then the following year, we'll go through the adoption process for science. Should do social studies the next year, but I won't tell you that it'll be the next year. If we do what we've done the last time, it'll be 2 years later.
One final question for you, Ms. Glass. You've already stated this, but just for clarity, you, Mr. Atkins, the school system feels to the best of our ability, we have included every math teacher, every person that's going to be dealing with this has had a voice, and they agree that this is what we want to do as a system.
Yes, sir. I have surveyed every teacher that teaches math, not once but twice.
Okay.
And our committee was tasked with making sure that they were listening as well. So yes, sir, I feel that way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any further questions? Please call roll.
Caruso,
Aye.
Daniel,
Yes.
Hartsfield,
Yes.
Jacobs,
Yes.
Mabry, Nidert, Weathers,
Yes.
7 yes.
Motion carries. Moving on to item 7, policy items. We have A through E, policy 1.404, policy 1.407, and policy 4.204.
Make a motion to approve A through C.
We have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions regarding these policies? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries by vote. Moving on to item 8, other items for consideration. A, summertime middle school year 23-24.
Mr. Chairman, at a previous meeting, I spoke to you about the issue at Summertown High School and how the state viewed that school as a 7-12 and some loss of funding that Mrs. Watson and I fought with state representatives, Tennessee Department of Education folks, probably for 4 or 5 months about how we felt that our students in Summertown were not getting treated fairly. And the end result was what the state passed, they told us that was it. So I said then, I think we need to make a move to separate a 7-12 school, it's the only one in the county, and make it a standalone middle school. Mrs. Cope completed the paperwork, submitted that to the Tennessee Department of Education, and we've got the confirmation that with the board's approval, we could begin a 7th and 8th grade at Summertown. We'll have a school number, we'll have a mailbox address, and with your approval, we will start looking at filling the Summertown Middle School principal if the board approves of that tonight.
Do I have a motion to?
I got a question. You said just 7th and 8th, it won't be 6th and 8th.
I believe in time, we will have space there that would give us that opportunity if there is a need based on population growth and overcrowding at the elementary school, that we would have space at the middle school to accommodate. But right now, Ms. Hartsfield, it's 7th and 8th grade.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Any further questions regarding this? I've got one. Go ahead. You got.
Well, just for clarity, I think, Mr. Atkins, you and I have spoke privately, but the plan is to start out, we were just hiring one administrator, head principal for the junior high.
Yes, sir.
And the high school would be keeping its head principal and its two assistants.
Yes, sir. We would just be adding to the administrative staff in Lawrence County as an administrator for the middle school for 23-24. Now, at some point, as that population increases, there are other things that we take into account, and if we felt there was a need to put an AP there or let it become one of our deans, then we would be looking at that.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. Moving on to B, proposed budget work session for May 23rd at 5 o'clock.
May 9th.
Oh, I'm sorry, May 9th. That's May 9th at 5 o'clock.
Mr. Chairman, what Mrs. Elledge and I would like to do is have the board present and go over the budget, explain the salary schedules, the purchasing of items, the buses, the things that we put together so that you'll have an understanding of it before the next board meeting, so we can vote on that, work out all the differences or any concerns you may have. In the weekly update, you should have read a number of positions being added, a number of things happening, but we'd like to take some time to go over that with the board.
Is there a possibility that could be moved to May the 11th? I mean, if the board members can't be there, the 11th would sleep at night, but I know I can't be there now.
Who all can make May 9th? Is there any?
Anybody?
So, I mean, I'm good any day. It doesn't matter to me. Any other board member have a problem with May 11th?
I do.
Do y'all have a problem with May 11th? Royce?
I can't make it.
You can't do May
Just
11th?
leave it tonight.
Okay, so we'll have a motion to move it, stay May 9th. Do we need a motion, or we just, that's what I thought too, so, good deal. So the proposed budget work session is May 9th at 5 o'clock. And in our next meeting, well, the next board meeting would be May 25th at 5 o'clock. Before I adjourn, I just want to tell Ms. Thompson, thanks for coming tonight. I know you haven't been here in a while, but that doesn't say that you haven't been working. You've been working, and I appreciate that. But it's nice to see you back again at the board meetings, and we enjoy your lovely face. So, and I do want to say thanks for working all that time. I know how difficult it was, and I'm glad to see you here. So, they're very good. So, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Wasn't there another meeting? Did you have another meeting in there that you wanted to have?
Yes, May 15th, if I get that date right, that is a work session on the strategic plan that the central office has been working on, that we would gather in
I think it's June.
June, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
June
Yeah.
15th, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So we'll be back here several times before that. So I got a motion on the floor to adjourn. Do I have a second?